And so in my infinite wisdom, or more accurately, my lack of experience with YouTube, I deleted the video showing this last process with respect to the earlier design. This one is a little bit different, but the process is still pretty much the same. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to remove the tearaway stabilizer. It comes away pretty easily. I'll put you on pause while I finish. The stabilizer is gone. You can see it's a pretty clean edge all the way around. I'll trim that up in just a little bit. Yesterday when I was stitching this sample, I pretended that this was the batting. So now I'm going to trim that, and you'll want to use your fabulous Karen K. Buckley red-handled scissors that has the curved edge, which will prevent you from cutting anything other than the batting, because you can butt it up very, very closely to the bean stitching, and it just makes a nice clean cut. I'm going to pause again while I finish. You can see that that made a really nice clean cut, caught that last little bit of stabilizer that I hadn't picked out. And one of the things that this does is it reduces the amount of bulk that's going to be in the seam allowance when we turn the coaster. The next thing then we're going to want to do is we're going to want to trim all of this fabric to about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the coaster. So you're going to want to use your 6.5 by 12.5 ruler. You both have one. Line the 1/4 inch line up. You can see that here with the edge of the coaster. With your rotary cutter then, you'll just trim that off. We'll do it on all 4 sides. Must need a new blade. Yep. And then with these corners, you're going to take your orange-handled Karen K. Buckley scissors and trim around each of the corners in a nice curve, about 1/4 of an inch away. Just kind of eyeball it. And after you've trimmed them, then what you're going to want to do at each corner is to make snips as close to the outer edge of the coaster as you can. What's going to happen, the reason we're doing that is these snips will then cause the fabric to spread when we turn this right side out. Okay, then we're going to turn it right side out, kind of pushing the corners out as much as we can in the process. Sorry, that's not very good. You're probably going to make it dizzy. You can see that this is a different design, kind of the same thing, except this, I don't think it had enough presence. The one that we're going to do has a satin stitch, was a little bit bigger. The star is a little bit more defined. But one thing I am proud of is I did kind of line the back up properly. So the next thing you're going to do is grab your purple thing and go in here and push the corners out so that they're nice and round and nice and smooth. There's a lot of stitching there. Remember all that stitching that we did when we were laying down placement lines, batting lines, all those kinds of things, fabric lines. So there's you can give that a good tug. And then what you end up with is this. This is the one that we stitched earlier. I think it turned out really well. I try and turn as much of the backing to the back as possible. It isn't quite possible to get it all, but it looks pretty good. I steamed it and then I kind of tugged it or hit it with a clapper to reduce as much bulk as possible. But there we go. That's it.